These are super affordable high-res earbuds. Let's check them out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out these. These are the Soundpeats Engine 4 true wireless stereo earbuds, and they're pretty nice. They feature dual dynamic drivers, so each unit has both a 10mm woofer and a 6mm tweeter, giving you 20 to 40,000 hertz frequency response. Now, I for sure cannot hear 40,000 hertz, and I'll bet you can't either, but the more frequency response, the better the music reproduction. So they feature HiRes audio, which is a certification program for really good reproduction. So LDAC, AAC, SBC, they're connected with Bluetooth 5.3, so that's the very latest Bluetooth, and that means you have less dropouts, less connectivity issues. You don't end up with one of them connected and the other one not. It all just seems to work very seamlessly. Now, I will note that some people have said they had problems with connectivity on these units, and when I got them and I plugged them in and paired them with the app, we'll get to the app in just a second, the first thing it did was gave me a firmware update. So my guess is that firmware update, it fixed all of those connectivity issues. I have had no issues, no dropouts. Pairing Bluetooth on multiple devices was super quick and easy. Really nothing to complain about. Now, they also have low latency, so it's 70 millisecond low latency. In the app, you can switch it to gaming mode and get that down even further if you need it. And dual device connectivity, so you can connect it to your computer and your phone at the same time. And there is a Soundpeats app. Now, before we get to the app and before we get to a demo, I'm gonna let you hear what they record, let me give you a couple of close-ups because the design is interesting. So it's a very elegant looking case, but the case is also this sort of shiny plastic, and it tends to pick up fingerprints, and it can be a little slippery. So I'm not sure everyone's gonna love the finish, and in the same token, that I find it can be hard to actually get the earbuds out of the case. So you're going to end up having this sort of pick and scoop out sort of gesture. But then when you put them in your ear, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's their earbuds, so it's not too much work there. It does come with 3 different size ear tips. In fact, let me show you in the box. It comes with a USB-C to USB-A charging cable. At the bottom of the charging box has that USB-C connection, and then there are 2 other sizes. So there's 3 sizes of ear tips. Now, I will tell you, it is super important that you take the time to try different sizes to get the right results. When I tried them with just the default size, I was not getting much bass at all. But as soon as I switched to the larger ear tips, because I have larger ear canals, then suddenly all that bass rushed in, and it was like, oh, these sound a whole lot better than they did before. So let me show you the app, but while I'm getting that all set up, I will also tell you that it has a maximum of 12.5 hours on a charge per earbud. I suspect you're going to get less than that, and if you listen to music loud, you're definitely going to get a lot less than that. But then the case gives you 3 more charges, so you should get 24 to 44 hours of music out of it all told, I should say. And let's get to the Soundpeats app, and you can see it's already found the earbuds, and it's showing me the left and right both are at 95%. But where it's fun is when you go to settings, and there's a lot of different settings you can have, including different presets. So it defaults to the Soundpeats Classic, which I find is a little low on bass. I don't like enormous, huge, punchy bass, but I like to hear the bass. So I chose Bass Boost, but you can see here you could experiment with different ones, or you can go back and you could do a custom EQ if you really want to have certain frequencies but not others. Some features don't seem to be ready to work yet, so adaptive EQ, I assume that reacts to the environmental noise around you. Looks like it's not implemented yet, but it's there, which means that at any point they can just turn that on via a firmware update. Game mode, and it actually just said game mode, so that lowers the latency. You can turn off all the buttons, and let me show you, there's this little cheat sheet. there's a lot of different tap sequences, and it matters which ear you tap as to what results you get. This can be kind of tricky, so turning that off is not necessarily a bad thing. And then dual device connect, that's something you might want to check. And then here you can see, let's see, I think it just automatically would say if there was a update to the firmware. Somewhere in here it realized that, but that's pretty much all the functionality, and the app works great. So now that we have all that working, let's go to voice. And what I want you to do is, I want you to hear my voice as picked up by the Soundpeats Engine 4. So what you're hearing right now is my voice picked up by the earbuds deep in my ears rather than the microphone that's right here on my chest. So you can hear it as a different tonal quality, but in terms of being on the phone with someone, this works perfectly well, and they're really comfortable. Now, let me switch back to my regular microphone. And let me go ahead and turn off the recording too. I know, you get to see all the housekeeping, right? So speaking of housekeeping, let's put that back. And so that's really everything. I have to say that there are other people that have reviewed these, and I think that they're not paying the time needed to figure out how to use them properly, because a lot of their criticisms really don't make sense to me. These have great connectivity, they have really good range, they have very acceptable battery life, and honestly, to me, if they run for 6 or 7 hours on a charge before me having to put them back in the case, that's already more than I'm going to listen to anyway, because you really don't want to just listen to these for like 10 or 12 hours at a shot. That is not good for your hearing. Take a break occasionally. And if you take a break and you just put them back in to charge, well, that works perfectly well, and it's a magnet, so they're going to stay in, they snap into the correct position, and the whole thing is incredibly light, incredibly easy to work with, has the multiple sets of ear tips so you can adjust the size and everything. So the only criticism I have really is, when I mentioned earlier, is I don't even mind this sort of fingerprint attracting plastic finish, but it is a little tricky to get the actual earbuds out of the case. And that might be something you find awkward too, but over time you're going to sort of figure out the gesture you need to be able to scoop it out. It might be that their magnets are maybe a little too strong. I guess with enough enthusiasm I can get it to fall out, but you know, it's just where I think the finish that they have and everything, I don't know, maybe it's something a little bit of a more grippy plastic would work better. Certainly for the outside, I don't know that it needed to be quite this shiny. Something with a little bit more of friction might actually work better for a lot of people. Anyway, if that's what we're complaining about, then there's really not much to complain about. In terms of the sound, I will say that once I got everything dialed in, they sound really nice. They have a nice sound stage. There's a precision to the sound reproduction, and I really just enjoyed it. I'm really on a kick right now where I'm listening to a lot of sort of classic electronica, like Wendy Carlos and, you know, things like that, and Andreas Vollenweider and such. And it just, that electronic music in particular, it works really well with, because there's a precision to the music and there's a precision to the results that it's delivering to me. They sound really good. I'm really pretty darn impressed with what they've done, particularly at the price point. So let's talk about the price. But before we get to the price, let me ask if you could subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and invite you to click on that subscribe button so you can be part of the family. Sweet. And if you found this to be helpful, useful, interesting, entertaining, whatevs, then give me a thumbs up or a like. Also really appreciate that. Cool. These are the Soundpeats Engine 4 TWS True Wireless Stereo Earbuds, and they are a remarkable $59.99 at Amazon.com. It's really kind of hard to believe that high-res wireless Bluetooth 5.3 earbuds are down to $59.99, because I remember when that would be a guarantee of at least $199. So lots to like here. So definitely ones to check out if you're looking for some budget earbuds that are comfortable, have really nice sound reproduction, work pretty darn well for your voice if you're talking to someone else, and give you lots of other features, especially that high-res, low-latency audio. So that's everything I got. I think I'm going to go back to my electronica, so I'll have to catch you in my next video.